1. The history. Ghosts, spirits, and hauntings are by far the most prevalent phenomena across the entire history of paranormal events. One of the first recorded reports of such activity comes from the writings of Roman author and scholar Gaius Caecilius, better known as Pliny the Younger, in a collection of letters simply named Book 7 from somewhere between 70 and 110 AD. In letter 27 of this collection, Pliny writes of a story recounted to him by a philosopher named Athenodorus, which took place in Athens around 90 AD. Athenodorus had recently arrived in Athens, and during a search for accommodation was presented with an opportunity to rent a property which was advertised at a price well below that of the expected average. Suspicious of the low price, he inquired as to why the property was available below the usual rental cost, and was told of the experiences of the former inhabitants. Supposedly, the residents of the property underwent nightly phenomena in the way of the sound of rattling chains moving around the house, coupled with the eventual appearance of a spectral man in iron shackles. The events were understandably enough to eventually force the residents to vacate the premises, and the house remained empty. Athenodorus was unshaken by the property's history and agreed to rent the house. He prepared for the arrival of night and attempted to distract himself from his imagination producing sounds throughout the house by focusing on his writing. The first half of the night passed without incident, but after midnight came the distant sounds of iron chains. Focusing intently on his writing, he paid no mind to the sounds growing ever closer to his study. It wasn't until the sounds had made their way to the very room he was working in that he decided to pay attention to the phenomena, and looking up from his desk was greeted by the gaunt and dishevelled visage of an old man, shackled in irons, who beckoned for Athenodorus to follow him. In a display of outright fearlessness, or perhaps just the mindset of a man interested in nothing other than the logical and scientific, Athenodorus raised his hand and gestured that the apparition wait while he finished his writing. The spirit drew closer, rattling his restraints within inches of Athenodorus, until finally he stood up from his desk and agreed to follow the apparition. The spirit moved slowly and encumbered, as if the iron chains retained their weight, but eventually the spirit led Athenodorus to the courtyard and promptly vanished. The spot was marked. Athenodorus retired for the remainder of the night, and the following morning contacted the magistrates and ordered the spot to be dug up. Human remains were found, complete with iron restraints, and so the body was given a proper burial at public expense, and the house displayed no further paranormal activity. While this is one of the earliest known recorded paranormal phenomena, it is of interest to note that the behaviours of the spirit, as well as the actions of Athenodorus and the magistrates, perfectly display what is commonly accepted as the usual patterns of a haunting, and the correct method for dealing with the situation. There are rules and reason behind hauntings and physical manifestations of spiritual energy, and this leads us to our next video covering the lore of such events. We hope you enjoyed the first part of this new series. Please let us know what you think in the comments section and we will continue in part 2. Until next time.